Dollar Life Plus, Dr. Dawn here with my guest Laura. I'm so excited to have her on. She is going to introduce herself and tell us all about her acumen and her talents and her wins on getting on some of the biggest shows around Dr. Oz being one of them. That's kind of what got me intrigued. Was like, how did you get on Dr. Oz, for your beauty business? So, I just want to find out more and just talk to you. So go ahead and tell us about yourself and let's dive in.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Laura the Beauty Buster, and I've been an esthetician since 1998. I was probably the first or second night class in New Jersey for the separate aesthetics license, because it was all under cosmetology at that time. People couldn't even say esthetician when I told my they were like, "What? Like, what is that? Like, what kind of lawyer is that?" I'm like, "No, it's no lawyer." And I fell in love with it. Like, as soon as I was a model I was working in a cosmetology school, and I was the admissions director, and they needed a model. And within like 2 minutes of being a model, I'm like, oh no, this is what I want to do. I'm like on the wrong end of the bed here. So I went to school. That was it. And I was off to the races. I found out that a lot of people in the industry didn't really take it seriously. And I was very serious because I was older when I went to aesthetic school. I was almost 30.
Wait, you look like you're 25. Like, when did all of this occur? Like,
It's 1998.
Oh my God. Yeah, you look amazing. So go ahead.
I was already older. And, so I think I was a little bit more serious than the girls right out of high school.
Right.
I already had a degree and everything. And so, and I was like, well, I don't know who I am, what I want to do. And then that was it. And then I just I was very, I guess, more shy, more introspective in many ways. And it forced me to really come out of myself. And I think that having to talk to clients and to get them to like you, and, a stranger walks in, you pour hot wax on their private part, get their hair out. I mean, like, I can talk to anybody, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So then that really kind of gave me the confidence to go and then approach magazines and other like bigger spas, bigger salons, to work with them and to write the book and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow. So a real originator. I mean, that's amazing. You set the groundwork probably for a lot of what we all learned later in life. And I was like you. I went into aesthetics much later. I already was a chiropractor, believe it or not. But I wanted to once I hit the beauty business, and I loved it. So, same kind of, being a little more mature, you're kind of in there with real focus, versus, when you're 18, you're exploring, you're not sure, things like that. So it was an interesting experience, I would say, too. So let's talk about your brand. So start me there. Like, what exactly are you bringing to the table as far as what you want the world to know about your brand right now? And then let's trace back a little bit to where you were able to connect the dots on getting on these, high profile, exposure, shows and magazines and things like that.
So my brand is The Beauty Buster, and I am a beauty consumer advocate. And that's twofold. Part of it, I advocate for the consumers. And then the other part, I advocate for licensed professionals.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And so with the consumers, and they kind of do coincide, and that's totally great. So for consumers, it's more about, how about turn the box over and see that the first ingredient is mineral oil, and is mineral oil really worth $300?
I love it.
No.
I call that goop and goo, right?
Yes.
Goop and goo. Are you paying $300 for goop and goo? Oh, I love it. So you're educating the consumer about, what really is a value product to buy, what you should not be buying. We'll definitely have to have some more shows, because I want to do reviews on some of these crazy things they're pushing on Amazon, right? As an Esther, you probably just roll your head like, oh my gosh, and so we could definitely do everything be really fun. And I agree with you about educating. And so, and then for the estheticians or the beauty market, are you working in medical aesthetics well, or mainly in the aesthetic division proper?
Well, I work with everyone because a lot of the services do cross over. So I used to do laser, and in Manhattan with Completely Bare. They were like one of the first back in the day. Yeah, in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
There was like 2 laser places in outside of doctor's office in New York, and there was them and the other one, and then the other one went out. So yeah, it doesn't really matter who they are, what they are. I'm teaching estheticians classes privately, and then I'm also doing copywriting and writing and helping spas, whether they be medi spas or multi-million-dollar spas, with their protocols and their menu development, and
Wonderful.
copywriting for their websites and marketing copy, whatever it is that they need. So I kind of go the whole gamut. A lot of paramedical estheticians that are, going up to maybe 12, 14 on the pH scale, which you
Yeah.
hear a lot about too often with your average esthetician. So
Right.
they're kind of teetering between, the two, medical and
Yeah.
your traditional esthetician
I
license.
I would say that it's hard to control that too, because, well, in Washington State, we have aesthetics and then master aesthetics, right? There's a division, but the division is really very small. It's the depth that you can go in the peel, the depth you can go with microneedling, and that you can use a laser under supervision, right? Where other states, may have those, may not have those. And I think it's very confusing sometimes to know, what exactly, and there's no real oversight in the clinics on what the estos are actually using, right? And so what's to say you don't use a phenol peel without having any clue, and that actually, I'll tell you an experience later that happened when I first did my aesthetics. But yeah, this is really important because nowadays, right, online, consumers can even buy these things. It's crazy that you could give somebody online a TCA, they could do it at home on a Fitzpatrick 4 or 5, right? It's crazy what's going on out there. So it's so wonderful that you're educating and you're helping people get clarity on that so they don't hurt themselves.
Yeah, hurt themselves forever, permanent damage.
Yep.
Constantly. I mean, even when people are educated, I just had an email the other day from an esthetician who was doing a brow lamb, which is like, you can't mess up a brow lamb.
Right.
And she's like, I don't know why the lady's, all her hair fell out in her brows. I'm like, well, how long did you leave it on for? 10 minutes. Well, it's not supposed to go past 5. So that's
right.
why, and I've had other esthetician in New Jersey message me that her boss bought this peel off Amazon, and she had to use it, and it was like the lady's now suing them.
Oh my gosh, right?
Like, to buy something off of Amazon, other than, I don't even buy a battery off Amazon. Like,
yeah, right.
A pillow, but like, nothing that I put on my face, in my body, unless I'm buying it maybe directly from that vendor.
Right.
But unless I'm doing that, you will never find me, buying stuff on Amazon. It's all a big scam.
Yeah. Or something you can ingest, let alone like something you would actually put in your body. Yeah. It's a little scary because there is, the oversight is kind of iffy, and knockoff brands and things like that you don't really know what's in the actual product that you're, using. So talk to me about, what you see in the industry right now with, one thing I've seen is there's a lot of pain in the industry right now, as far as they make it seem so easy to get going in your business, and oh yeah, you just do this and you do that, and it's such a fallacy. And so many smaller businesses in the beauty, like individual estos or even bigger med spas now, are finding it that, how do I get into the waters of 2024 and forward, right? There's so much saturation, so much noise online. I remember, back when you started, or I started later, it was like, okay, you just put a local thing in the local magazine, right? Or people just knew, right? Or you even ran a Groupon and then you upsold them when they came in the door. So you really didn't have to think too much about getting those clients in the door. But now it's just crazy. So what's your opinion on, the future here?
Well, the economy's in the tank, and there's just no way getting around it. It's really difficult. So what I suggest to everyone is, streamline your business, get rid of a lot of the excess, and really deliver the most outstanding customer service possible.
Agreed.
Because there is a spa on every corner, and they're all going to be cheaper, 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 cheaper. Well, how low can we go before, like, it's not even worth it to go in anymore?
Exactly.
So I believe it's really about the customer service. It's remembering their name. It's making sure they're comfortable. It's saying, what service is it that you're looking for? What can I give to you that you might want that will help you, more things that I can make your life easier. You can just come here and get.
Exactly.
Things like that. It is very difficult. Like, it's already like 20 years past where you can put an ad out and expect people to show up. That doesn't work.
Right.
Although you don't have to be, a super TikToker, you do have to be out in your community. I still find face to face is still the best.
I agree, 100%.
Get out to know people, give them your card, give them a discount card, get to know them, care about who they are.
Mhm.
Don't just like, spam Facebook groups with your thing. Like nobody cares.
Right.
There's so much noise, but like
Yeah.
create something that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add to that that one of the things we teach in the Profit Academy is the principle of, having brand influence in what, a 20-mile radius. I mean, 80% of your clients are going to come from around that area. Why are you trying to be everywhere when you just need to go deeper into the golden pond, which is your local area, and getting out and kissing babies and shaking hands, right? Just like, that interconnect, especially with the beauty industry, because the clients often are trying to find who do they value and who do they trust, especially when you're getting into higher level medical aesthetics and when you're getting into really high ticket pricing. They don't want to just trust their every part of their body to anybody, so what better way than to meet them at an event? So I agree with you. Get out of the studio and get out back, and not relying on Instagram to do all the heavy lifting for you. That myth that it's going to take care of everything and you just sit at home and eat bonbons it's just ruining businesses left and right, because it's not true. The reality is, especially a service business, is you need to get out there and spend that time, like you said, getting, we recommend that you go and find 5 events every single month that you can do pop-ups. And there's just so many things, but you got to get out the door. You can't just rely on that.
You have to get out there. When you don't have a client, are you going out trying to get business, or are you just sitting there scrolling Facebook?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So there's a lot of the jobs I had, and like when used to do a ton of freelancing, and at some points I was only freelancing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only as good as, the job that you're like doing currently.
Right.
Once that job's done, you don't have anything. So it's a constant hustle, and you're constantly trying to bring in new blood, which can be exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you kill yourself for a little bit for like a year, it will pay off. My first year when I opened my spa, after I was freelancing for years, I literally almost had a breakdown that first year, but then I never marketed or barely ever advertised for the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's great.
I made flyers. I went to the schools. I know teachers have money that's always coming in. Where I live, teachers make a lot of money. They're making 80 grand and up to start. So I made flyers, and I put it on every single teacher's car at the school, the high school, the middle schools. They have money. At the hospitals, I know where the nurses park. I put a flyer on every single nurse's, car about that. Like, the ground with guerrilla marketing.
I remember that, guerrilla marketing. Go out there and just
basically, when you have no extra money, how are you going to get the word out?
Exactly. And I think what they've been spoon fed with all the companies like Instagram, Facebook, and all of that. Now, those are great tools, but you really have to be sophisticated in when you're going to start dropping coin on those ads, right? Because you can burn through so much money if you don't know what you're doing. And they make it sound so easy, because I always tell clients too, I say, look, who's really making the money off these platforms? The platforms are, right? So of course they're going to encourage you to do, oh, it's so easy, just do this, do that. But that's not really the case. And I think a lot of them get disillusioned with the influencers too, because they all they do is curate content. Their whole job is just to do that. That's how they're monetizing. It's not from their services. So, opening the eyes to these poor estos that are just like, what do I do? They need to just understand the reality and really get mentored by people like you, that really know what they're doing and can really give them tactical plans, and not like this fluff that doesn't work. And, and agreed, the beauty industry got hit really hard last year, 2023. But the one thing is, there is never a place that someone's not going to want a beauty service. So it doesn't matter if you're in Podunk, wherever, you will still make money as long as you become the brand leader of your area, right? And you dive in. So let's convert to, how did you get on, tell me about these shows and all of this press that you got. How did that all get going?
Well, with Dr. Oz, so I was following, this was, I guess, around 2011, 2012 or so. So it was a long time ago. What happened? So I wrote the book Spa Wars, which, my silly book.
Love it. Love it.
Don't buy it anymore because it's like crazy. It's like, it's not supposed to be a book, but it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And then once I had learned from people, like, oh my gosh, the Jack Canfield and T. Harv Eker and people like that if the new business card is a book.
Yeah.
They said, whatever you do, write a book.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I'm like, I believe in modeling. So I'm like, I'm just going to do what these guys tell me to do. I mean, when Jack Canfield looks you in the eyes and says, write a book, I'm like, okay, I'll write a book. He's like, people don't throw away books.
Yes,
And this
yes,
was
that's true.
like a long time ago where people
Yeah.
would download it, but like, people don't throw away books, but your card, they're going to throw away your business card.
Mhm.
So I did that. I put it out there. I put myself out there. I started writing for blogs and ghostwriting for bigger blogs. And that really got my name out there. And then one day I was just at work and I got an email from the producer at Dr. Oz and saying, would you want to be on Dr. Oz? And I'm like, well, duh. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, of course. She's like, yeah, I found your book online and we're looking for people who will come on and tell the truth about what works, what doesn't. And they wanted to know, I was on there with Perry from the Beauty Brains.
Mm-hmm.
Him, but the doctor, and we were talking about, what works, what doesn't, or like, are eye creams really a lie? Do you need an eye cream? Do you not? Do you need a neck cream? Is it just the same exact thing in a smaller package for twice the price?
Right, right, exactly.
Yes, usually.
Yeah. So you went on there, and what benefit did you see from, getting that exposure? Did you see any, how did you capture that experience to benefit from it?
I got emails from all over the country of people asking me questions, wanting their advice, doing, at that time, phone consultations with people that now I've moved into more virtual consultations with clients all around the world, really. And then them wanting to know how to take care of their skin. I've got consultations of what mascara to use.
I love it.
Seriously, how they can go about with their eyelash extensions, because we talked about lash extensions and mascara on there. So anything that I talked about in there, people wanted to know and they wanted to buy whatever it is that I had to sell at the moment.
Got it. Got it.
I would suggest, if you plan on doing, marketing yourself to the masses, you have to have something to sell to the masses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it better be something that everybody can use, or however you're going to do it, but have something to sell so you can back up with that and make it worth your while, and keep that email list, have it in 2 or 3 different places so you don't lose it, and curate it and keep it forever.
Nice, nice. So that little boost, it's amazing the ripple effect of what you can gain from just that one exposure, even if it's like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And that's what I love about video content, is that you can use it and multi-purpose it over and over again. So what would you say to an esthetician who is kind of wanting to really build her brand influence and, go to the next level? Like, you said products, I think one of the challenges right now too, is there's so many products coming out of Alibaba, and people have gotten savvy. Oh, I can buy it on, Temu now, right? Like, it's just gone crazy. And how do you keep that brand so that people see the value of buying from you, your products? And then would you suggest they start with like one product and then do like an Amazon? Like, would you suggest for them to move anything that they wanted to sell like that?
I definitely say start with 1 or 2 products. Make it a star product. A lot of these companies that we see now, a lot of them started with really just 1 star product that took off and gave them the money to build. If you try and create a whole skin line and you don't even have any clients buying it, I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Something that's maybe different, unique, even if it's a lip balm, maybe have some kind of different packaging. You can potentially make it at home, maybe, but the private labeling has come so far.
Yes.
I mean, it was horrible in the beginning.
Right. Now it's become kind of easier, right, for the average person, which is good and not so good, because then it makes everybody be able to do it. But I think, when I would think also, comment on that is that with every new level, I call it, you have a new devil, right? So if you're going to bring in a product, then you also need to plan, how are you going to sell it? How are you going to ship it? Like, there's more things to learn. Oh, looks like you froze on me, Lori. Let's see. We'll pause.
Am I back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it was a glitch. Well, don't worry, we'll edit that out. So we'll start again. I was saying about the products that you were talking about. So would you, agree that they come up, like maybe make a little mini business plan on that? Because like I always find that, I don't know if you agree with others, but I find that with med spas especially, they're always getting, what's the next new thing? I'm going, nurse practitioners especially, it's like everything they want to just bring in. And I'm like, you can't be good at all of this. Like slow down and focus on, what you're good at. And then they want all these products. Like they'll go with everything the rep tells them, right? Because they're just thinking the next thing and that doesn't work out because you have to market every single thing you bring in, right? So if you bring in a new laser, you better know how to market that laser because it's not necessarily the same as the waxing you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, with this product development, they should probably learn a system of selling it that's going to be a little bit different than what they do for services, right? If they want to sell online. So what do you recommend there?
Yes, if you're going to be selling online, I definitely suggest having the pictures that you have must be pretty, like, Instagram worthy. And not that you have to go and spend millions of dollars, but you can put it, a lip balm around some flowers. You can make it look interesting, inviting, have a little story about that product. A lot of times people like a story. So with part of my skincare line, I'm using olive oil from my family's town in Italy.
Oh,
so that's like
lovely.
To my little story about, when I went there with my sister, we went into my great grandfather's house.
Yeah.
And, it's a very luxurious kind of feel. And the packaging is a little more unique than, your basic just dropper bottle or something. So it's a little bit having a story and why you're doing it. That's what will captivate people and make them more interested than just, here's a lip balm. It's going to feel good.
Yeah.
I very flavored, like, there's got to be something more behind it because then people will know, oh, she's just trying to take my money. Like,
right. Or I saw that on Alibaba and she just put a new label on it. We see in the permanent cosmetic industry it's ripe with that because the reps are so good. We'll get you your own machine, and you're like, that machine's like the same machine that someone else is selling. So you lose trust and confidence when you see that. So I love that, and I love the old saying, sell it with stories. Right? There's always a story, and that's what buys people into it. And then you get those people that are aligned with that story that become your loyal customers, right? So that's awesome. And then you can do other things. What other tips or any other advice you would give, let's say a new Esto starting out? Do you have anything on that? And then we can wrap this up. But I'd love to hear what you would suggest if someone was brand new, and what do you suggest that they start out with?
The spa world has changed so much in the last, 20 years. But for right now, if you're new, I would say align yourself with the best. I don't care where you start, but align yourself with the best. I worked with some of the best. When I learned about PR through work, I opened up the spa with Fresh in the Upper East Side in New York. And that really taught me about PR and how to handle publicists when you work with them. So, and where they can lead you to and what can happen. So I ended up on Entertainment Tonight because I worked with these publicists from Cosmo, and then Cosmo spread to Refinery 29 and Beauty Insider. And then it just was like millions of views, and it kind of just like snowballed because I knew how to treat people and I knew how to make what I was doing interesting and a story based on what I learned probably 15, 20 years before with Fresh.
Yeah. That's great.
Story with their soaps and the creme ancienne cream and whatever, and the nuns make it in like Europe, whatever, right? So those stories are all dead.
Right.
But back then it was kind of, true. And so it's really it's about learning from the best and then modeling them and doing what they do. So, it's like birds of a feather flock together, or, your income is the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Right. And I feel it's like that way with your intelligence. I'm not so smart. I didn't invent anything necessarily, but I learned from people who were doing it at this high level. And so I'm constantly trying to, get up there, and I bounce up and down and whatever. It's nothing's ever a straight ride up for the most part. Right. So, that would be my suggestion. Align yourself with the best. Save every penny. You might not make a lot of money in the beginning as much as you would if you maybe, went out and got like 50% commission someplace. You might get 20 or 30% commission, but you're going to learn things that will carry you for the rest of your career.
I would love that. Is absolutely the truth, right? There's an old saying, learn to earn, right? So you need to do your time to earn the dime. I always tell that to my students as well. So that's great. I love that, Laura. And it's been so amazing getting to know you and learning all about this. We'll definitely have to have some more conversations, because the more I talk to you, I'm like, oh, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about that. So thanks for being on with us, and we'll see you next time. So anybody watching this, we'll definitely have Laura back on, and maybe we'll do some kind of live Q&A sometime where we can answer questions and help people, that way. So again, it was so great to meet you, and have a great rest of your weekend. And thanks for popping in on a Sunday.
But this is it. How many people no, I work 9 to 5. Not if you want to be really successful.
Not really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't ever seem like work. So, all right, my dear, you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.
Take care.